Once upon a time, there lived an old mother pig. She had three little pigs. One day, she decided to send them on their way to lead their lives on their own. Go and seek your own destiny and fortune, the mother said, and the little pigs went their ways. The first pig was very lazy. I'll build my house with straws, he decided as he chose the easy way. He got the straw from a farmer and started building. The second pig said, I will make my house with sticks. He got the sticks from a woodcutter and began building. The third pig was laborious and intelligent. I will make my house using bricks, he said, and got the material from a builder pushing a cart of bricks. Your materials seem weak and your house won't be strong, said the little pig to his brothers, as he was quite concerned that their construction would not be sturdy enough. He said, Listen, brothers, we should make a strong house which can save our life for any danger. The other two pigs said, You don't do your way. We will make our houses and our way. Anyways, those bricks looks very heavy. So much labor and so much work. Oh, not for us. You continue. They ignored his advice and constructed their houses that they want. Soon, all three pigs built their houses and were pleased about it. After some time, a wolf passed the lane of these pigs' houses. He saw the house made of straws and a pig playing nearby. The wolf decided to him. The moment the pig saw the wolf, he ran inside the house in fear. Then the wolf knocked the door and said, little pig, won't you let me in? But the pig refused and replied, No, 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 not by the hair on my chinny chin. Then the wolf grinned and said, I will be huff, and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. He said what he said, and he blew the house away. Seeing this, the first pig ran towards the second pig's house to hide. The wolf followed him along and found the second pig's house. He knocked the door again and said, little pigs, won't you let me in? After seeing the scary teeth of the wolf, both the pigs replied, No, 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 not by the hair on chinny chin. Then again the wolf laughed in satire and said, Ho, 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 then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And he did just that. Realizing what was happening, both the pigs escaped to the third pig's house. The wolf followed them and reached the third pig's house. Now the wolf knocked the door again and said, little pig, let me in, let me in. But the frightened pig answered back, No, 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 not by the hair on a chinny chin. Then the wolf laughed cunningly and threatened, Ha, 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 then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. The big bad wolf tried to bring the house down and huff and puff again and again, but it was of no use. The frustrated wolf attempted to make a forceful entry from the chimney, but the intelligent third pig boiled a large pot of water and placed it below the chimney. The wolf fell inside the pot, hurt himself, and ran away in a jiffy. The three pigs were overjoyed. The other two pigs praised the third pig for his hard work, practicality, and intelligence. Thank you. Story of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak. So, everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother if she could go to visit her grandmother, as it had been a while since they had seen each other. "Oh, that's a good idea," her mother said. So, they packed a nice basket for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother. When the basket was ready, the little girl put on her red cloak and kissed her mother goodbye. "Remember, go straight to Grandma's house," her mother cautioned. "Don't dawdle along the way, and please don't talk to strangers. The woods are dangerous." "Don't worry, Mommy," said Little Red Riding Hood. "I'll be careful." When Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flowers in the woods, she forgot her promise to her mother. She picked a few, watched the butterflies flit about for a while, listened to the frogs croaking, and then picked a few more. Little Red Riding Hood was enjoying the warm summer day so much that she didn't notice a dark shadow approaching out of the forest behind her. Suddenly, the wolf appeared beside her. "What are you doing out here, little girl?" the wolf asked in a voice as friendly as he could muster. "I am on my way to see my grandma, who lives through the forest near the brook," Little Red Riding Hood replied. Then she realized how late she was and quickly excused herself, rushing down and passed to her grandma's house. The wolf, in the meantime, took a shortcut. The wolf, a little out of breath from running, arrived at Grandma's and knocked lightly at the door. "Oh, thank goodness, dear. Come in, come in. I was worried sick that something has happened to you in the forest," said Grandma, thinking that the knock was her granddaughter. The wolf let himself in. Poor Granny did not have time to say another word before the wolf gobbled her up. The wolf let out a satisfied burp and then poked through Granny's wardrobe to find a nightgown that he liked. He added a frilly slipping cap and, for good measure, tapped some of the Granny's perfume behind his pointy ears. A few minutes later, Red Riding Hood knocked the door. The wolf jumped into the bed and pulled the covers over his nose. "Who is it?" he called in a crackly voice. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood." "Oh, how lovely! Do come in, my dear," croaked the wolf. When Little Red Riding Hood entered the little cottage, she could scarcely recognize her grandmother. "Grandmother, your voice sounds so odd. Is something the matter?" she asked. "Oh, I just have touch of a cold," squeezed the wolf, adding a cough at the end to prove the point. "But grandmother, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood as she edged closer to the bed. "The better to hear you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But grandmother, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to see you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But grandmother, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood, her voice quickly slightly. "The better to eat you with, my dear," roared the wolf, and he leapt out of the bed and began to chase the little girl. Almost too late, Little Red Riding Hood realized that the person in the bed was not her grandmother, but a hungry wolf. She ran across the room and through the door, shouting, "Help! Help! Wolf! Help!" as loudly as she could. A woodsman who was chopping log near heard her cry and ran towards the cottage as fast as he could. He grabbed the wolf and made him spit out the poor grandmother, who was a bit frazzled by the whole experience, but still in one piece. "Oh, Grandma, I was so scared," sobbed Little Red Riding Hood. "I will never speak to strangers or dawdle in the forest again." There, child, you have learned an important lesson. Thank goodness you shouted loud enough for this kind woodsman to hear you. The woodman knocked out the wolf and carried him deep into the forest, where he would never bother people any longer. The Little Red Riding Hood thought to herself, "As long as I am alive, I will never trust the strangers." Today's story is The Gingerbread Man. A long time ago, there was an old couple that lived in a cottage. One fine day, the old lady decided to bake some gingerbread and shaped one gingerbread like a man and decorated it with chocolate buttons for eyes, icing for a smile, and little colorful sweets for buttons. Then she put the gingerbread in the oven to bake. When she came to check upon the gingerbread and opened the door of the oven, she got shocked. The gingerbread shouted, "Don't eat me!" and leapt out of the oven. He ran and rolled across the room and out the open door. The old lady called out to his husband, who was working in the garden. After seeing the gingerbread man running away, he also joined his wife in the chase. The couple ran after the gingerbread man as fast as they could, but they outran them and shouted, "Run, run as fast as you can! You can't catch me! I'm the gingerbread man!" They got some rest at the river's bank and resumed chasing. Eventually, he came to a cow's field. Cow said, You look tasty. I think I will eat you for my tea." Gingerbread said, "You need to catch me first. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't capture me. I'm the gingerbread man." Next, the gingerbread man reached a pig on the road. Pig said, You look delicious. I think I will eat you for my tea." Then the gingerbread said, "You will need to catch me first. Run, run as quick as you can. I'm the gingerbread man." Next, the gingerbread man reached a horse in a stable. Horse said, "You look delicious. I think I will eat you for my tea." "You will need to catch me first," shouted the gingerbread man. "Run, run as quick as you can. I am the gingerbread man. You cannot capture me." And off he ran towards the stream. "Why are you running away?" questioned the cunning fox. At the edge of the stream was standing an old sly fox. "They all want to eat me," said the gingerbread man. "I think I have to cross the stream." "I can help you," said the fox. "You can hold on to my tail while I swim across." And that is exactly what the gingerbread man did. "I'm so happy I met you," said the gingerbread man. "My feet are getting wet," yelled the gingerbread man. "Then jump on my back," said the cunning fox. They had been swimming for a little while when all of a sudden they swam a bit further more when, "Oh no, I am getting wet yet again." Eventually the sly fox said, "Why don't you jump on my ears?" reacted the cunning fox. However, the gingerbread man was still getting wet. "Well, jump on my nose," replied the sly fox. So the gingerbread man jumped on his nose. But just as he did, the cunning fox tossed the gingerbread man high into the air and ate him up in a one big bite. So, the moral of the story is that be careful when dealing with the strangers. Story for today is The Ugly Duckling. Close to a farm, there was a little pond where a mother duck was watching over the eggs she had laid. They cracked open one egg at a time. She pampered all her newborn ducklings as they fussed around her. However, there was one large egg that was to be hatched. She had to wait for a long time before it finally cracked open. What emerged out of the egg was unlike her other duck babies. This one looked different. It was bigger and had dark grey feathers. "My big baby, you look so different but adorable." She allowed him to mingle with the others, but they explained, "You are so very different from us. Look at our soothing yellow feathers. You have dull, grey feathers. Oh, you are so ugly." And together they moved away from him. The mother realized his pain and told him not to worry, and it was typical of siblings. But the grey duck was hurt. The next day, the mother took her little ducklings to introduce them to the other farm animals. The horse, pigs, chickens, and the cows welcomed her and her little ones. But as soon as they saw the grey-colored duck, they exclaimed, "Oh gosh, how can you be so different and ugly?" This behavior continued for many days and affected the grey duckling a lot. One night, when his mother and siblings were fast asleep, he crept out of the farm to avoid the insults. He wandered around the countryside and came across other ducks and animals, but whoever set eyes on him insulted him and his looks. He came across a farm where the farmer and his wife kept him for a while, but the other animals were really rude and made fun of him. The grey duck was disappointed and said, he thought, "I guess it is the right time for me to move from here." So, one morning before the sun came up, he quietly slipped outside and moved in search of a place where he would be accepted. Tired and hungry, he finally came upon a spot where he heard very happy chatter. The fear of being ridiculed made him hide in a nearby bushes. From there, he was able to see the most beautiful white-colored birds. They were simply stunning. Their long, slender neck, delicate beaks, and soft sounds made the ugly duckling want to go out and meet them. But he feared they would fly away. He admired them until they all flapped their wings and majestically rose into the air and disappeared. Every day and night, he would move softly, searching for food and shelter, hoping no one would drive him away. But he did not come across a single friendly individual. He often thought about the beautiful white birds he had spotted once and wondered if he would see them again. One fine day, as he was moving softly along the long stretch of a small stream, he was struck by what he saw. Yes, he found a few of those beautiful white birds perched on a few pebbles on the stream and staring at him. "Oh, they will hurt me." He bent his head low and was surprised at the reflection staring at him. He was white. He looked beautiful. He couldn't believe his eyes. Suddenly, he found himself surrounded by the beautiful swans. They told him, "You are so beautiful and strong. Why are you all alone? Come with us." He felt a renewed energy and realized his wings has grown strong. He smiled and moved happily with them. A little ahead was a garden with some of the village folks. They were feeding birds with cakes and other goodies. Oh, look, there is a new member in that family of pretty swans. The now pretty swans were so happy to hear the words. A new member in the family? After having their fill, the swan took him with them and they rose together, making everyone admire their grace and the beauty.